All right, we are back again with another episode of Recruiter Fuel. And Hannah, thank you for joining me for the second or third time now.
Yes.
So here's the discussion. I want to set this up for everybody who's watching. There's a myth out there, and I believe it's a myth, but I hear it all the time. I was talking to a CHRO, Chief HR Officer, from a large company last week, and she says to me, she says, you know, anybody can be a recruiter. And I kind of let it sink in for a second. I wasn't about to get into a pissing match with her at that particular point.
Sure.
So I walked away from the conversation, and then I called her a little bit later, and I said, I don't think that's accurate. So the comment is, anybody can be a recruiter. Hannah, what's your take on that?
Absolutely not. Definitely
Emphatically.
not. No, and I think there's a reason why the turnover rate is so high in this industry is because it's not meant for everyone, and not that many people are that successful at it, and it does take some specific skills to be good at it.
What makes a good recruiter a good recruiter? What do you got to have, in your opinion, to make it as a recruiter?
I think two things. You have to be knowledgeable about the subject you're recruiting on,
Okay.
and you have to be authentic.
What does that mean, though? Because that's a term that I hear it all the time. Again, you know, let's be authentic. What does that mean in recruiting space?
Sure. So I think that means a couple of things. I think a part of that is creating a brand for yourself and showing that you're caring more about people's careers and their livelihood than just placing people in seats to get a commission check.
But most of the industry, let's talk third party for a second. That's really not the point of this, but
Sure.
most third party recruiters are paid only when they fill a role. So how can you be authentic and balance comp at the same time?
It is tricky, and I think that's one of the hardest things for agency recruiters is to really balance that, being your true authentic self and wanting to find the right person for the right opportunity, but then also needing that money to live off of. So it is a tough thing to balance, but I think at the end of the day, if you're just transparent with your candidates about all of the good things and the bad things about the client or opportunity you're working with, they're going to have a lot more respect for you. And maybe they didn't take the job, or they went a different route, but they have a good experience with you. And that's what really matters, because everyone knows everyone, or everyone knows someone. So
Why do you think this whole attitude of anyone can be a recruiter is out there in the first place? Why do you think that's so prevalent? Because it is.
I think it is because there's so many recruiters out there, especially ones who might not be from the U.S., and they do it wrong.
How so?
They're not trying to be authentic. They are just trying to put people in seats and just trying to collect a check. It's very transactional and not relational, not relationship-based at all, which from day one when I was taught in recruiting is this is not a transaction-based type of position. This is all about relationship building, and I think that's the key differentiator, is that to be a good recruiter and be successful, you have to have that relationship piece.
So you've got authentic,
Mm-hmm.
you've now used, I think, transparent, and you've got relationship.
Yes.
So describe for me relationship. What does that really mean?
So that means offering candidates more than just jobs, right? We're supposed to be experts in the staffing and hiring field, so it's also providing them with tools or tips and tricks on how to be better with their resume or interviewing, and just kind of being a resource for them, not only for new jobs, but when it comes to the hiring process in general and what the market condition is like.
So provide some value by providing some direction.
Exactly.
Okay, so that's 3. What else? If you're talking to a head of talent acquisition that wants to hire a recruiter, and they're asking you, you know, tell me the characteristics or tell me what you look for in a recruiter to make a real good recruiter. You've got 3. Is that the only 3 you look for? Is there something else?
I would say another thing that's really important is the organizational piece, because you're talking and communicating with so many different people, and you're not, like I said, it's not transactional. So ideally you want to maintain relationships with these people, and to do that you have to have a good system to make sure you're always staying in contact with these people, whether it's via email or a social media post or whatever it may be. building that relationship and then staying in contact with those people years and years later, that's challenging because you're talking to, I mean, we're supposed to be making 40, 60 dials a day, and then from there, I mean.
Okay, that's a whole nother topic.
Oh yeah.
Because very few recruiters are making 40 to 60 dials a day. You and I both know that.
I know that.
Okay, what about this? What about this last piece? Because I talk about this all the time. Really great recruiters are really great salespeople.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But there's two kinds of salespeople.
Oh, sure.
Nothing about the industry, but used car sales pitch or professional selling. What's the difference in your mind?
In my mind, I would say professional selling is understanding that specific person's motivations and interests and then targeting your sell speech towards those. So it's not always the same for everyone. It's not always going to be compensation or location or PTO. You have to be the one to uncover what's important for those folks. And then once you do that, you can then go ahead and start to make a good sell.
Selling is easy if you know the person's need you're selling to. Selling does not work, or it comes across as, have I got a deal for you? If you're just selling, I mean, who's going to call up and say, I got a real crappy job for you to consider? Are you going to do that?
I would never.
Nobody's going to do that. So everybody has the approach of, have I got a great job for you? When in fact, you don't know if it's a good job for them.
I don't.
Until you uncover something about them. And I think this is probably at the heart of why we get the reputation of anybody can be a recruiter, and then they turn around and say most recruiters suck. I don't think everybody can be a recruiter, and you validated that. Thank you for that.
Yes.
And the reality of it is most recruiters do suck. Why? Because they're either the wrong person or they've never received one lick of training on how to do it the right way. Here's a phone, or now here's your computer. Go do your job. Go contact as many people as you can and sell them on a great opportunity that they don't know anything about. Anyways, thank you for your insight on this, Hannah. I don't think this is going to be the last discussion we have about this, because it seems that there's this movement about recruiters are so bad. And you know what? I've been doing it for 25 years. I love this business. I think there's those of us that do it really well and for the right reasons. And we need to make sure everybody else gets on board with this as well.
I agree.
Thank you, guys. It's been great to have you here. Check back in a week. Another episode will be coming your way.